Welcome children to our second term session, lesson number 6, new questions and ideas. Okay. So, we will be reading this lesson today children. Open your textbook. In this lesson we are going to see the story of Gautama Buddha, we are going to see the story of Mahavira. Okay. So, this Gautama Buddha, he was also known as Siddhartha. Okay. Siddhartha, he was also known as Gautama. He was the founder of Buddhism and he was born about 2500 years ago. Some kings in the Mahajanapadas were growing more powerful at that time. New cities were developing and life was changing in the villages as well. And many thinkers were trying to understand these changes in the society and they wanted to try and find out the truth meaning of life. Means at this period many people, they wanted to know, they started thinking about more about life and death and they wanted to know, find out the true meaning of life. Now at this period even Gautama Buddha was born. Okay. He belonged to a small Gana known as Sakya Gana and he was a Kshatriya. When he was young man, he left the comforts of his home in search of knowledge children. Okay. When he at a very young age, he left his home in search of the knowledge. He wandered for many years meeting and holding discussions with other thinkers. But finally, he decided to find his own path of realization, his own path to realization, and he meditated for many days under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya in Bihar. And finally, he attained enlightenment. After that, he was known as Buddha or the Wise One. And he then went to Sarnath teaching people near Varanasi for the first time. He spent the rest of his life travelling on foot, going from one place to another. And lastly, he passed away at Kusinara. Buddha taught that life is full of suffering and unhappiness. This is caused because we have cravings and desires. Means he found that people are not happy with their life. Why? Because there are many desires. Okay, we have many cravings, we are having many desires, and if these desires, if these cravings are not satisfied, then what happens? Automatically we become sad, we become unhappy. Sometimes even if we get what we want, we are not satisfied, right? And we want even more of that. The Buddha, he described this as thirst or tanha. He taught that this constant craving could be removed by following moderation in everything. He taught people to be kind and he respect the lives of others. Means his teachings were to be kind to others, to respect everyone, even animals. He believed that results of our actions called karma. What do you mean by karma? Karma means whatever actions, whatever work we do, okay, the results, whether good or bad, they affect us both in this life and even in the next. Buddha taught in the language of ordinary people, the language of Prakrit, so that everybody could understand his message. He also encouraged people to think for themselves rather to simply accept what he said. Now here we will see what do you mean by Upanishads. Okay. What do you mean by? Around the time that Buddha was preaching and perhaps a little earlier, other thinkers also tried to find the answers to different questions. The questions were, what is life after death? Even why sacrifices should be performed. Also many thinkers, they felt that something permanent, there was something permanent in the universe that would last even after death. Means even after we die, but something is lasting in the universe. And what is that? Then this thing they described as Atman or the individual soul. Soul means even if a person dies, his soul remains in the universe. That's what these thinkers, they believe. And Atman, they described this as the Atman or the individual soul. and the Brahman or the universal soul. They believed that ultimately both the Atman and the Brahman were one. Many of their ideas were recorded in the Upanishads. These were part of the later Vedic text. Upanishads literally means approaching and sitting near, and the text contains conversation between teachers and students, and these were presented through simple dialogues. Most Upanishadic thinkers were men, and they were especially from Brahmins and Rajas. But there were exceptions like Gargi. Okay, she was famous for her learning, and she participated in debates and in royal courts. And poor people rarely took part in these discussions. And one more exception was Satyakama Jabala, who was named after his mother, the slave woman Jabali. Even he had a deep desire to learn about reality, and he was accepted, okay, as a student by a Brahmin teacher named Gautama, and he became one of the best known thinkers of the time. Now we will come to our next topic, that is Jainism. Okay. The last and 24th Tirthankara of the Jainas was Vardhabhana Mahavira. He spread his message around this time, that is near about 2500 years ago. He too was a Kshatriya prince like Gautama Buddha. Okay. He was a Kshatriya prince of Licchavis, a group that was a part of Vajji Sangha. Even Mahavira, at the age of 30, he left his home and he lived in the forest. For he spent 12 years in the forest. He led a very hard and lonely life, at the end of which he attained enlightenment. Now what are his teachings? Okay, we'll learn about his teachings. His simple teaching was, men and women who wish to know the truth must leave their homes. They must follow strictly the rules of ahimsa, which means not hurting or killing the living beings. All beings, said Mahavira, long to live. To all things, life is dear. Ordinary people could understand the teaching of Mahavira and his followers because they used Prakrit. There were several forms of Prakrit in different parts of country. Prakrit spoken in Magad was known as Magadhi. So children, what were the teachings? The main teaching of Mahavira was to live a very simple life, and the people who wanted to know more about the truth, they must leave their homes, okay, and they should follow the rules of ahimsa, that is, ahimsa means not hurting or killing anything, even an insect or animal, nothing, okay. We should not hurt anyone. To all things, life is dear means everyone they like their life. No one wants to die. So what he taught? He taught that to all things life is dear. So long to live. Many ordinary people could not understand the teachings of Mahavira and his followers because they used Prakrit. Many ordinary people could understand. Why? Because Mahavira used to teach in the ordinary language called as Prakrit. Followers of Mahavira, who were known as Jainas, okay, the one who followed Mahavira, they were known as Jainas. They have to live a very simple life, begging for food. They have to be absolutely honest, and were especially asked not to steal, means they should be honest, okay. They should not they should not cook food, okay. They have to go to beg the food, and whatever they get, they should be happy in that, and they should eat only that much. They should not steal anything, and they had to observe celibacy. Celibacy means unmarried, okay. All the men had to give up everything, including the clothes. It was very difficult for most men and women to follow such strict rules. So thousands of them left their homes to learn and teach this new way of life, but many more remained behind, and they supported those who became the monks and nuns. Jainism supported mainly by traders. Farmers who had to kill insects to protect their crops found it more difficult to follow the rules. Means one of the rule was not to kill anyone, not to hurt anyone. So many of the traders, they supported this Jainism, but it was difficult for the farmers. Why? Because farmers, they have to spread the insecticides, pesticides to kill the pest, to protect their forest. So for them this rule became very difficult to follow. Over hundreds of years, Jainism spread to different parts of India. The teachings of Mahavira and his followers were transmitted orally for several centuries, but now they are in written form, in which they are presently available at a place called Vallabhi in Gujarat. Now we will see children Sangha. Okay. Both Mahavira and Buddha, what they felt? They felt that only those who left their homes could gain true knowledge. Means if we want to gain the knowledge, if we want to know more about truth, we have to leave our house. So for these people, they arranged to stay together in the Sangha. The rules for Buddhists was mentioned in the book called Vinaya Pitaka. All men could join the Sangha, but children, they have to, if you want to join the Sangha, then children have to take permission of their parents, and slaves have to take permission of their masters. Those who work for the king, they have to take permission of the king. Men and women who joined Sangha led to simple lives. They meditated for most of the time, and they went to cities and villages to beg for food during the fixed hours. This is why they were known as bhikkhus. Okay, means beggar. And bhikkhunis, they taught others, they helped one another. They held meetings to settle the quarrels that took place within the Sangha. Even Brahmins, Kshatriyas, merchants, slaves, barbers, anyone could join this Sangha. Some of them also composed beautiful poems describing their life in Sangha. Now we will see children about monasteries. Okay. To begin with, both Jaina and Buddhist monks went from place to place throughout the year. The only time when they stayed in was during the monsoon season, rainy season, when it was very difficult to travel. So their supporters built temporary shelters for them in gardens or in caves. As time went on, many supporters of the monks, see this picture, okay, it is a cave which was built for these monks and nuns. Many supporters felt the need for more permanent shelters, so they built monasteries. These were also known as vihara. The earliest vihara was made of wood and then of brick. Some were even in caves that were dug out in hills in western India. Very often, the land on which vihara was built was donated by the rich person or merchants. The local people came with gifts of food, clothes and medicines. After over the centuries, Buddhism spread to many parts of subcontinent. Now here we have seen the system of ashrama. Okay. Around the time when Jainism and Buddhism were becoming popular, Brahmins developed the system of ashrama. Here the word ashrama, it does not mean a place where people live and meditate. Here it means stage of life. So it is divided into 4 stages: brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha and sannyasa. Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya men were expected to live simple life and study the Vedas during the early years of their life, called as brahmacharya. Then they had to marry. Afterwards, once they studied, they have to come back to their house and they have to marry, and they have to live their life as householders. That is called as grihastha. Now after this stage, they had to live in the forest and they have to meditate. That is called as vanaprastha. And finally they had to give up everything and they have to become sannyasins. The system of ashrama allowed men to spend most part of their lives in meditation. Generally, women were not allowed to study the Vedas and they had to follow the ashramas chosen by their husbands. So this is what your lesson is, children. Hope you have understood very well this lesson. Now we are going to show, I am going to show you the video of Mahavira. Okay, Vardhaman Mahavira.
Vardhaman Mahavir is regarded as the founder of Jainism. Do you know that he was the 24th and the last Tirthankara, that is teacher of the Jains? He was born as prince in 599 BC near Vaishali. He belonged to the Kshatriya caste. Though he was born as a prince, he denounced the life of luxury and comfort. He left home at the age of 30 in search of truth. He attained spiritual knowledge after penance and meditation of 12 years. After this, he became a Jinna, which means conqueror of self. Let us now study about Mahavir's teachings and his views on ahimsa, rituals and sacrifices, caste system, God, and karma and rebirth. Ahimsa or non-violence is the first great teaching of Mahavir. He preached not to harm any living creatures, not even insects and plants. He opposed all forms of religious rites, rituals and sacrifices. Mahavir believed that all people are equal. He did not believe in dividing people into different castes. Mahavir did not believe in existence of God. He was of the view that God was not the creator of the universe. Regarding karma and rebirth, Mahavir believed that a person's soul would be reborn again and again due to his or her karma or actions. According to Mahavir, the highest goal of a person's life was to gain freedom from the cycle of birth and rebirth. One can do this by attaining moksha. And moksha could only be attained by following three ratna or three jewels, which are right knowledge, right belief, and right conduct. Therefore, we have seen what Mahavir preached. His philosophy and teachings came to all three jewels, which are and right conduct. Therefore, we have seen what Mahavir preached. His philosophy and teachings came to be known as Jainism, and his followers are called Jains. The religious literature of the Jains is found in the Purvas and Angas.
Yeah, children, now you have seen the video of Vardhaman Mahavira, the life of Vardhaman Mahavira. Again, you have seen the teaching of Mahavira, how strict his teaching was, how strict his rules were. Okay, the main teaching was ahimsa parmo dharam, means you should not hurt. Okay, non-violence. You should not hurt or you should not kill anyone, as life is dear for everyone. Now, children, here is a story of Kisa Gautami. Okay, a famous story about Buddha. We are going to just read a short story about Buddha. Once there was a woman named Kisa Gautami. Okay, a woman called as Kisa Gautami, whose son had died. She was so sad that she roamed through the streets of the city carrying the child with her, asking for help to bring him back to life. A kind man took her to Buddha. Means what happened here? A woman called Kisa Gautami, her son died. Okay, so she was crying. Okay, she became so sad, and she was crying, and she was roaming throughout the street carrying the child, carrying his son in her arms, and asking for help for someone to bring his life back. So, one kind man, he took her to Buddha. Then what did Buddha said, children? See, the Buddha said, bring me a handful of mustard seeds and I will bring your child back to life. So, what did Buddha said? Ki I want some mustard seeds, you bring mustard seed, handful of mustard seeds, then I will bring your child back to life. So, Kissa Gautami was very happy, okay. She became so overjoyed and she started off at once, and she immediately started to go back to bring the mustard seeds. But Buddha gently stopped her and added. Then what happened? Buddha stopped her, and what he said? He said, the seeds must come from the house of family where nobody has died. Means what Buddha is saying her? Buddha is telling her to bring the seeds from that house, okay, where nobody has died till now. So, children, can this happen? Can you find a house where nobody has died till now? No, na? So, Kissa Gautami went from door to door, but wherever she went, she found out that someone or the other, father, mother, sister, brother, husband, wife, child, uncle, aunt, grandfather, grandmother had died. Means when she went from door to door to search whether she could found some house where nobody had died, but it could not happen, because if there is a life, there is a death, children, okay. If we are born, we have to die. So, she could not find even a single house where even a single person, maybe father, mother, grandfather, grandmother has not died. So, what was Buddha trying to teach the sorrowing mother? Buddha here, he wanted to teach the that lady Kissa Gautami that life is for death only. If one has born, he has to die. So, children, now we will go to our exercise, true or false, okay. Take your pencil and mark this true or false answers of your exercise. Yeah, write whether true or false. Buddha encouraged animal sacrifices, is it right? True or false? He encouraged animal sacrifices? No. So, write here false. Sarnath is an important because it was the place where Buddha first taught his teachings, right? Correct. It is true, okay. Then the Buddha taught that karma has no effect on our lives. Is it correct? No, it is false. What he taught? He taught that karma, it affects our life, it affects whatever good or bad we have done, it affects in this life or in the next. Again, Buddha attained enlightenment at Bodh Gaya. Is it correct, children? Yes, this is true. Means first one false, second one true, third false, fourth true, and last one is the Upanishadic thinkers believed that the Atman and Brahman were ultimately one. Yes, in the end even they believed that Atman means the individual soul and the universal soul are ultimately one. So, this is what your lesson gets over. Go through the lesson. Now, just we will recapitulate whatever we have learned in this lesson. Okay. First, we have seen the story of Buddha. Okay, children. Buddha was also called as Siddhartha. Then at a very young age, he left his house, okay, and to find the path of realization, and he meditated for many days in the forest under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya in Bihar, where he attained enlightenment. Then his first teachings were at Sarnath. Then we have seen the teachings of Buddha. Okay. Buddha, what he taught that life is full of sufferings and unhappiness because of the desires of the people. Our desires are never ending. Okay, if one desires get over, again we want some other things. Again, like this, our cravings goes on increasing. And what Buddha has taught, he taught us that These sufferings, these cravings can be removed only if there is a balance in the nature, only by following moderation in everything. He also taught people to be kind and to respect everyone's life, even to animals. Then he believed that whatever actions we do, whether it is good or bad, it comes to us back in this life or in the next life, which is called as karma. And he taught the people in the ordinary language called as Prakrit language. Then we have seen about Jainism, like Vardhaman Mahavira. He was the last and the 24th Tirthankar. He was a Kshatriya prince. He too left his home when he is at the age of 30. He spent the whole life in the forest, at the end of which he attained enlightenment, and his followers are called as Jainisms. Then his teachings were ahimsa paramo dharma, means you should not hurt or kill anyone, even small insects or animals, nothing. Many his rules were very strict. Followers of Mahavira were known as Jainas. Then they led a very simple life. They have to be unmarried. Okay. So most men and women, it was difficult for them to follow such rules, but they started supporting those who followed the rules and those who became monks and nuns. Then we have seen Sangha. Okay. Both Mahavira and Buddha, they arranged for the people who have joined their Sangha. Then the rules made for Buddhists were recorded in Vinaya Pitaka, and most men and women who join this Sangha, they have to live a very simple life. They have to meditate for most of the time, and the food, they have to beg for the food. Even Brahmins, Kshatriyas, merchants, laborers, courtesans, slaves, anybody can join this Sangha. Then finally we came to monasteries. Monasteries means a building which was built mainly for monks and nuns, because they never as they used to travel from one place to another teaching the people, but during rainy season it was difficult for them to travel. So for these people such monasteries were built, and the persons, those who donated the land for such monasteries were mainly merchants or the kings, and the local people, they came with gifts, food and clothing for such monks and nuns. And finally we have seen the system of ashramas, that is there were 4 stages of life: brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha and sannyasins. Brahmacharya means early years of a child, okay, where he has to learn the Vedas. Then grihastha, after learning, after his teaching, after his study, he has to come back to his house. Then he has to live a settled life, means he has to get married and live as a householder. Afterwards, then he has to go to forest for meditation, and finally at the very end age he has to give up everything and he has to become a sannyasi. So children, hope you have understood this lesson very well, and you have, I think you must have enjoyed the videos also of Mahavira and Buddha. So go through this lesson, read the lesson and solve the notes. So we will meet you in the next session. Till then, goodbye and thank you.